Hello, Algebra 2 students. This is part 2 of the arithmetic sequences and series. So in this video, we are going to find the sum of arithmetic series, and we're going to be able to find specific terms as well. So a series, here's some more vocab for you. A series is formed when the terms of a sequence are added. An arithmetic series is the sum of the terms of an arithmetic sequence. The sum of the first n terms is called the partial sum and is denoted by S sub n. So we're talking about sums here, and I'm going to show you how we can find those sums. So there's two formulas you need to write down. The general sum here is S sub n, where n times is multiplied by a sub 1 plus a sub n divided by 2, where a sub n is the last term. And alternate formula right here is when you have a sub 1 and d. Now keep in mind sometimes we need to find n to use this one or this one. So you might have to do more in order to find n, and using what we did previously, we might have to use that formula. So here's an example where we have a sum, or we have a series, and we want to find the sum. So the first term is 12. The last term then is 180. And we need to find n first to do anything. So you'll see that'll be pretty common. So we can find n using our last formula because we want to find the sum. Now, do we know what d is? We know what d is. d is 7. Our first term we know is 12, and our last term, a sub n, is going to be 180. So that'll be our last. This will be our first. Okay, so we have 180 equals 12 plus n minus 1. And what's d? 7. Very good. So go ahead and combine like terms here. You got to distribute. And we end up with 180 equals, it will be, well, you know what we'll do? We'll just go ahead and subtract right away. Let's do that so we don't have to combine like terms. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 12 right away. So we have 168 equals 7n minus 7. Add the 7 over, divide by 7. We should get n equals 25. So now we have, we're going to use this general up here, the general partial sum right up here, because we have a sub 1 and a sub n, but now we know what n is. So our second step then, this was our first step, our second step then is going to be s sub 25 equals 25, oh wait, we're not going to use that one, are we? We're going to use this one right here, because we have a d and our a sub 1. We just need to find n. That'll work too. Okay, so 25 over 2. And we have 2 times 12 plus 25 minus 1 times 7. I'm going to run out of room. So then we have s sub 25 equals, this will be 12.5. And if we do our order of operations in here, it's going to be 192. When we do that, then we get 2400. So the sum of this series would be 2400. Now, could you have used this one up here like I originally wanted to, but the book did not? Yes, you can, and you'll get the same thing because we have the a sub 1 and the a sub n, so you could do that as well. And it ends up being the same thing. We have s sub 25 equals 25 times 12 plus 180, 80 divided by 2, and you end up with 2400 as well. So you could use both of them. Let's try another one where we have to find the first three terms. So we want to find the first three terms of the arithmetic series, in which A1 is 7, A sub n is 79, and Sn equals 430. So with this one, we have the first term and we have the last term. So this one for sure we want to use the S sub n is equal to the general, I guess I should call it, okay, because they're both S sub n. So with that one, then we can go ahead and find what D is once we know what N is. So we have 430 is equal to N, because we want to know what N is, A sub 1 plus A sub n, so it's going to be 7 plus 79 over 2. We calculate that out, which is 43, so we have N times 43. Divide by 43 on both sides, N equals 10. Now we want to find out what D is. So this is our first step. Our second step, we got to find out what D is because D tells us what we're going to add. So we need to find D. So we're going to go back to our formula in the previous lesson. A sub n equals A1 6 sauce, remember that? N minus 1 times D. So we have 79, because that's our last term, equals 7 plus 10 minus 1 times D. So let's go ahead and subtract 7 over, and we'll get 72 equals 9D, not 90, 9D, and then D equals 8. But now we're asking for, our third step here is the first three terms. So if we know the first term is 7, we're going to be adding 8 each time. Okay, so 7, then it's going to be 15, then 23. So lots of steps here, lots of steps. We got to work through it and using our formulas. Okay, testing which formula would work. Now, something that you'll use in pre-calculus. A lot in pre-calculus. You'll see this, the sigma notation. Okay, sigma notation is the sum of a series can be written in shorthand. Okay, so and this is going to be the last value. So the last value you plug in. This is going to be the first value plug in, and then you have a function. You have a function which is right here. So the formula for the terms of the series. So here's an example. We start with 1, and then we end with 12, plugging in. So this is what we plug in. And this is the formula. So notice we're going to plug in 1, then we're going to plug in 2, then 3, and then we're going to keep going till we get 12. Okay. So for this one, we want to find, this example here, we want to find the sum. So because this sigma means we want to find the sum of this series starting at 4 and ending at 18. So how many terms are there? We need to figure out what n is. We need to figure out what a sub 1 is. And we need to figure out our last term, what that is, in order to use our S sub n equals n times a1 plus a sub n over 2. So how many terms are there? Because that's what n stands for. 18 is going to be what term? Now we got to count 4. Okay, we have to count 4, so we need to make sure that we count 4. So 18 minus 4. 18 minus 4 is 14, but we also got to count 4, so we have 15 terms. Okay, so n is going to be 15 because we count 4. So it's 18 minus 4 and then plus 1. And you can count on your fingers too, just to be safe. So a sub 1, then let's see, if we plug in 4, what are we going to get? Plug in 4 here, so 6 times 4 minus 1 is going to be 23. And then our last term with 18, we're going to take 6 times 18 minus 1, what do we get? 107. So now we can go ahead and figure this out. So we're going to have S sub 15 equals 15 times, it'll be 23, excuse me, plus 107 over 2. And what do we get? 975. That's what you should have got. Okay. So I guess the biggest thing here is to make sure that you find the a sub 1, find the a sub n the last term by plugging these values in. Okay. And then n, just make sure you count the first term. So you can take your k, your n and your k here, subtract them, but then you're going to add 1. So in the Google form below, I want you to find the sum of this. Please find the sum here. And that's all I have for you guys. You have a wonderful day. School's almost done. Woo! All right, we'll see you later.